Tarot Oracle, and welcome to Tarot Symbology. We're starting the court cards. So today we have the Wands, of course, as the first court cards. We're starting with the Page of Wands, and you'll notice just how top-heavy he is with all of the clothing. So you'll see these other people are, this one has some clothing on that's a bit fruffled or froofy, but he is extremely top-heavy and wearing apparently no pants. So he's very top-heavy. He's trying to be royalty. He's taking it very seriously, and you'll notice this one is not very serious. This one is kind of serious. This one's definitely serious. So we have two out of all of them that are very serious and sort of staring, very concentrated and things like that as well. So the Page of Wands is again a very serious, and he's taking it very studiously as well. So he also has a pattern on him of lizards, which usually means sort of this renewal or rebirth type feeling, and you'll see that as well from the other cards in here as well. So we have a lizard. Now notice on here and here we have the lizard sort of wrapped around eating its own tail. So where have we seen that before? We've seen it in the Thoth cards with the snake eating its own tail, meaning the rebirth or the endless cycles, moving back and forth, the endless cycles of going round and round, the never-ending circle. And we have that on not only this one, but we have it on this one as well and this one as well. So we have these three with this consistent lizard theme. So we have the lizards here. Now some are eating their own tail, some are not. And again, we have the same thing here. Over here we have the addition of the lion as well, but we'll come to that later. Now notice we have an independent lizard. Again, the rebirth, sort of the enlightenment as well. So for now, let's concentrate on the page. So again, the page is taking himself very seriously. It's almost like he's trying to be a bigger royalty. It's almost like he's trying to be the king, maybe. So he has the overdressed, a bit too much, and it seems like he's going for the colors as well of the king. So the king has that flowing robe over here, and then over here we have that, it's almost like it's similar color, not exact, but you'll notice the underlayer is very similar to this as well. So he's trying to be bigger than he is. He's reaching for more. He's trying to be a bit more. Now also, like in all the other wands, notice that the wands are not dead. It's not like a stick he got off the ground, a stick that's been there for a couple of months. It's rotted, it's dead. All of these are alive and they're sprouting, indicating again the rebirth or the birth or the factor of life and things like that. So notice that similar pattern as well on that. So as far as the page goes, he's very serious, he's very studious, and he's looking up at his wand, and he's taking it very seriously. And again, he's reaching for more. He's making more. Now also notice he's taking an aspect from the knight. So the knight has all this armor. The page does not have all of the armor, but he does have an armored hat. And the hat does have a feather in it. So he's again reaching to try to be the king as far as clothing. He's sort of going for it in the top-heavy manner, and there he's looking up at the wand. He's very studious with it, very looking up, trying to be more than he is, but he's also taking aspects, again, from the knight. So maybe he does not have the big helmet, but he does have an armored hat. And again, it has a smaller version of the feather or the flare that we have at the top of the knight's helmet as well. So he's taking aspects from all of these different cards, and he does have a shorter version of the knight's clothing, and again he's taking aspects from that as well. So he's very sort of a copycat, or he's very sort of trying to be more than he is. He doesn't like, clearly, the page roll. He doesn't like that roll. It seems that he wants to be better. He wants to be greater. He wants to have the clothing of the knight. He wants to have some of the armor of the knight. And again, he's taking aspects from the king as well by having a bit of a sort of a higher level robe or a royal robe that the other pages do not have. And again, top heavy, trying to be more, trying to reach for more, trying to be aspiring as far as what he wants and where he wants to go and how he wants to do it. So that is the Page of Wands. Now next up obviously is the Knight of Wands, again with the lizard eating its own tail. Even the ones that are not physically eating their own tail, like this one here, we have ones that are about to. So that's an interesting difference between these cards. Now another thing I want you to look at is the mountains, or the mountains. The mountains, obviously, as per other cards, indicate challenges. So not only do we have the fire element or the action element of wands sort of roaming into these cards, but we also have the use of that action. It's not like useless action or useless drive or useless ambition. These are preparing to deal with the mountains in the background. And you have these mountains in the background through, most of the other pages as well, but you'll notice that the mountains here and here and here are all blue, have that cool element. In other words, they're far away. So there's a difference between in painting or in, in the environment about how mountains look when they're close up versus far away. They're going to look warmer close up. Things look warmer close up, and things look cooler farther away. So we have the farther away mountains here, but we have that close-up mountains in the other cards here. So again, these are close mountains. He's ready, this knight is ready, and the page is ready to deal with the mountains and deal with the challenges. So the challenges are close up. The challenges are coming soon. It's not something that's going to be far away. And in the distant challenges, like you would have with the Page of Pentacles, for example, we have a close-up challenge and a close-up thing that we need to deal with moderately soon. And they're ready to do that. This one is ready to do that with his ambition. The Knight is ready to do that with his, front forward, full charge ahead feeling that you have from his card. So it's very important to him to get going. It's very important to him to charge off. And there's a difference between other knight cards, which are sort of, so he's ready to go at it, clearly, but obviously the speed at which he's willing to do those challenges, or the speed at which he's willing to take things in stance, is going to be different than the full charge ahead feeling that we have from the Knight. So it's important to note, again, that the challenges are soon, they're upcoming, but also both of these are ready to go. The Page is ready to make the challenges with his ambition, and he's sort of lightly armored there on the helmet. The Knight is fully armored. He's fully ready to go. He has the wand in his right hand, and he's ready to roll. Now, one thing I want you to notice as well, that most of the court cards have wands in their right hand. So the right hand being the creative, the right side being the creative side, the left side being the more logical side. And within the logical side, the Queen is sort of reducing that logic, or reducing that by holding the sunflower. But you'll notice that the Page is holding the wand with both hands. Again, taking it extremely seriously. More serious than maybe the King, more serious than maybe the Queen. A lot more serious than the Queen, obviously. But he's taking it very seriously. He's engaging it with both hands. So it's important to note that he has both hands on the card, which is going to be different than all the other court cards that we have here. So, and you have the same feeling with the page of swords with the both hands, and then the page of pentacles, again, holding it with both hands. So these two take it seriously. But when we get to the cups, we have that less serious feel. We have the slower moving horse. He's not so serious about it. And the page of cups is sort of lighthearted with it, with a fish coming out of the cup. So again, very different cards, very different reactions, very different approach to how they're going to do things. But again, remember the eating the own tail, the enlightenment, the rebirth, the endless cycles that we have apply to the Knight. But he has some that are eating their own tail now, like here, but he has some also that are not eating their own tail yet. So the cycle is not always going around. The cycle sometimes is paused. The cycle sometimes is interrupted, and that could be one of the things that we have as well. So that is a look at the Knight of Wands. So the next card, obviously, is going to be the Queen of Wands, one of the few with a pet. If you consider maybe the lizard a pet, I wouldn't. I would consider the cat a pet. Now, the cat sort of points to that psychic connection, right? Or the perception of something that's going to be higher than yourself, or something that's going to be an unusual perception or an enhanced perception. And it's with the king and queen that we start getting the lion references as well, for the strength or the durability or the sturdiness of all of that. And obviously the sunflower for that opening, that freshness, that newness that we have as well. So we do have quite a bit of lions. We have lions here, we have lions there. And again, we have a lion here and there as well. So we have this repetition of lions, or that Leo strength, maybe a little show-offness, if that's a word, or the ability to sort of enhance what we have by showing our strengths. So we have the thrones, obviously indicating, again, the stability. We have the jewelry, the crowns that indicate the power king and queen would obviously have. But we have this repetition of green throughout as well. So the green sort of pointing to, again, that life, that freshness, and the sunflower pointing to the newness, the freshness, and the ability for the sun to rejuvenate us in all things. And again, we have that repetition from the sunflower from the yellow dress. The yellow dress sort of pointing to, again, that warmth, that power, and that ability for her to be in connection and use her connection, or psychic ability connection, in various ways. So she has more of that softness or that gentleness as compared to just basically the king over there. So she's, pointing to, again, that psychic ability, that feminine side, etc., with all the various symbols within her card, but still maintains the power of the throne and maintains the lion aspect, which is quite a bit more here than over here. So it's a bit more in your face here than it is over here for the king. So next, obviously, we're going to move on to the king. Again, the lizard, renewal, things like that. So we have this manifestation of the renewal, or the manifestation of the lizard, right? So the lizard, that reptile feel within there, and the reptile is sort of running loose in the king. In other words, he has that manifestation. He's able to use that, and he's more in tune with that manifestation, because you can see the green, green, and green over here on the king side. Now the king obviously is fully decked out and dressed up, and again he has the ever intertwining lizard not only here but on his throne as well, but he's sort of facing off to the side. So she's looking off a bit to the left, and he's sort of facing off a bit to the left. So she's looking in that general direction of her left, and he's looking in the complete different direction. So you can use this obviously for card interactions as well, but it's interesting that they're both looking at different directions. Now again, he only has one hand occupied. That's going to be on the right side, the imaginative side, and that is holding the wand. Now notice also that the wand is touching the ground meaning the king is a bit more grounded than the queen. So the queen is sort of resting on the throne itself, and the king has made sure to extend the wand over the throne and rest that onto the ground. So pointing to more of a grounded sense, or sort of an earthly type sense for the king as opposed to maybe the queen. So the queen also has that psychic connection with the cat, and the king doesn't really have that pet or anything. He's sort of all lizard and all lion at this point. So interesting differences between these two, and definitely something to incorporate into your readings, and a lot of symbology within all of this stuff, and a lot of little subtle things that you can take away from here as well. So you can see that the king's mountains are almost none. I mean, you can see that there's something in the background, maybe a hill or something like that, but it's not a huge prominent mountain like we have in the page. It seems that the king has already conquered all of the challenges presented from the page, and now he's down to the last few challenges, or the last little bit that he needs to deal with. So the queen still has a little bit, but again, not at the quantity of him, and obviously it's because it's behind the throne, but still you could have quite a few mountains over here on the king's side, but we don't, because the king has conquered most of the challenges that were present for him and sort of laid out for him, and he doesn't really have to worry about it at this point. So a lot of good stuff for the court cards, and as always, thank you for watching this. And I want to take a moment to thank my Patreon supporters. What is that, you ask? That's where you can support my work. By donating $5 or whatever a month, you can support my work and help me pay for the software that I use, etc. So my current Patreon supporters are Adam G, Allie Cat, Annie Lemaster, Carmen Garbaria, Carolyn Bouchard, Crystal McGinn, Fatima, Gary Fink, Hot Chocolate, Jessica Mente, Kim Wilson, KSW, La Ami, Richard Zeh, Scott Miller, Shintaro Kuga, Sanai Zamora, and Trina Iaverio. Thank you all so much for supporting me, and I greatly appreciate your donations and support. As always, please hit like and subscribe. It would be fantastic to get more traffic over here so we have more people to interact with, and sort of had a community of friendly tarot people that we can sort of bounce ideas off of and talk to and things like that. So again, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.